If Noah had started with a demand, I might have recognized him sooner. But his control arrived looking wounded. It arrived in careful questions, disappointed silences, and those tired little sighs that make you feel as if you have failed someone who never fully names what they want. When we met, Noah seemed safe. He remembered details, listened all the way through my stories, and made ordinary life feel calm. After a string of loud, unreliable men, that steadiness felt like kindness. That is why it took me so long. Before Noah, I had been with Eli for almost 7 years. Not some secret soulmate, just a real adult relationship that took up real space in my life. We met in graduate school, built a life, and ended quietly. No affair. No explosion. Just the sad realization that history is not the same thing as a future. Noah never liked that the breakup had been calm. He once said he almost wished Eli had done something terrible, because then at least he would understand where he stood. I heard honesty. I did not hear the warning. Some people cannot tolerate a past they cannot morally defeat. The first issue was a shoebox in my hallway closet. Inside were ticket stubs, a card, a Polaroid, harmless evidence that I had once lived another life. Noah found it while looking for batteries and asked, very quietly, why I would keep it. There are questions that are really verdicts waiting for your cooperation. I did not know that yet. So I explained that it was old, that I had forgotten it was there, that keeping proof I once lived is not the same thing as wanting that life back. He said he didn't understand needing proof of something that was over. The line sounded wise enough that I let it work. The next weekend, I threw the box away. After that, the pattern taught itself. An old photo album became baggage. A playlist with Eli's initials became insensitive. A group photo became weird because Eli happened to be in it. Noah never barked orders. He said he was trying not to be jealous. He said he wanted to feel chosen. So I kept answering more than the moment deserved. I deleted the album, archived old posts, unfollowed mutual friends. When he admitted, tearfully, that he had gone through my tablet one night because he felt stupid for trusting me so completely, I comforted him, and then spent 2 hours proving there was nothing left to find. By the time we got engaged, my past had become extremely tidy. And still, it was never enough. Something else always caught him. An old story, an old apartment, an old name. Every old fact irritated Noah, not because it threatened the present, but because it proved he had entered a story already in progress. The final request came the week before my birthday. We were eating takeout on his couch when he turned his phone toward me. It was a private Instagram account belonging to Priya, one of Eli's old friends. Buried in the grid was a rooftop photo from 2016, me leaning against Eli's shoulder, both of us laughing, both of us holding paper cups. Not romantic, just ordinary. Noah asked if I really thought it was appropriate for that to stay online when we were about to get married. I said the account was private. I said it was Priya's page, not mine. I said the photo was almost 10 years old. And he said, very evenly, that I should ask her to take it down, not take down something on my page. Ask someone else to erase a memory on hers. That was when the room changed shape. Everything before that had at least pretended to be about my own choices. This was him handing me a script for editing another person's history because my past still existed somewhere beyond his reach. I asked how he had even found Priya's account. He admitted he had searched old tagged usernames from one of my archived posts and clicked through mutual followers until he found what he was looking for. That should have become the whole conversation. The snooping, the hunting, the fact that he had spent time tracking evidence that I existed before him. Instead, he said he was tired of being made to feel unreasonable for asking for respect. He said every time he swallowed discomfort to be mature, he found another reminder that I had not really let go. That was the moment I understood the trap. Every concession I had already made had not counted as generosity. In his mind, it had become the minimum, and my only failure was not anticipating the next demand fast enough. So I asked, what happens if she deletes it? He frowned. I said, what happens next? What is the final version of me you're trying to arrive at? He said this was about starting our marriage clean. He said healthy relationships have boundaries around exes. Useful words in the wrong mouth. I told him a boundary is what you decide for yourself. This was him asking me to manage another person's photo archive because reality bothered him. His face went colder. He said he was asking me to choose him without hesitation for once. For once. I thought of the shoebox, the playlists, the passwords, the mutuals quietly removed, the years of my own life trimmed back so his insecurity would have fewer mirrors. And suddenly it was clear. I had spent nearly 2 years treating each request like an isolated emotional event, when it was really one long lesson. If Noah felt discomfort, my job was to reduce the world until he did not. And no amount of reducing would ever finish the work. Because the real problem was not that traces of Eli remained. The real problem was that I had existed fully before Noah, and he experienced that fact as competition. I told him I was not sending the message. He asked whether a random old photo mattered more to me than how he felt. That question lands hard in a room, because it demands that you defend common sense as if it were cruelty. I said the photo was not the point. Then he said the sentence that ended us. I shouldn't have to share you with a past you claim is over. Share me. With a past, not betrayal. History itself. That was when something inside me unclenched. Not because it stopped hurting. Because it finally made sense. I told him he did not want peace. He wanted proof that if something made him insecure, I would help him erase it. I told him he was not asking to feel safe with me. He was asking to become the editor of my life. He cried then. Real tears, I think. I believe he genuinely felt afraid of losing me. I also believe fear can become tyrannical when a person decides their feelings should outrank everyone else's boundaries. He asked if I was really ending things over one photo. That was the final trick of the relationship, shrinking the story right when it finally became visible. I said no. I was ending it because nothing had ever been enough, and now he wanted access to people and memories that were never his to manage. I left the ring on his kitchen counter beside the cold takeout containers. Afterward, Noah sent messages that swung between apology and accusation. He said anyone serious about marriage would understand wanting a clean slate. But a clean slate is for paper, not people. People arrive with old cities inside them. Old loves, old embarrassments, old versions of themselves preserved in other people's stories. 2 days before my birthday, Priya messaged me. She had heard Noah had been asking questions through a mutual acquaintance and wanted to make sure I was okay. That detail shook me, not because it surprised me, but because it confirmed the search had already started to spread. I told her we had ended things and that she did not need to delete anything. She wrote back one sentence I still think about. Anyone who needs the record cleaned that badly is not afraid of the photo. He's afraid of context. Context? That was exactly it. The rooftop picture threatened Noah because it located me inside a full life he had not authored. On my birthday, I opened the hard drive where I keep old photos and looked through years I had trained myself not to revisit, not because I wanted Eli back, but because I wanted to feel the edges of my own life again without apologizing for them. Bad bangs, borrowed furniture, old apartments, dead pets, terrible casseroles, birthdays in kitchens too small for all the people inside them. A whole human record, messy, ordinary, alive. That was what control had been trying to make me ashamed of. My own continuity. I am not embarrassed anymore. Love can ask for honesty. Love can ask for fidelity. Love can ask for tenderness. Love does not get to demand historical revision. And if I learned anything useful from the whole thing, it is this. Be careful of the person who always calls their discomfort proof of your duty. Some people do not want reassurance. They want jurisdiction.
Thank you for watching. If this story pulled you in, do me one favor. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so the next one finds you the moment it drops. Remember, nothing is ever just what it seems. See you on the next one.